Hey, my name is Bo, and let's talk about depression. Depression is something that I've struggled with in my life off and on over the years, and I understand how frustrating it can be. When you're depressed, you're kind of in this weird spot of wanting change in your life. You want to improve things in your life or improve yourself because you're not happy, right? But at the same time, you're so depressed that you don't really have the motivation or energy to make those changes that you want to make. So you're kind of in this weird spot where you're almost paralyzed. You're unable to do what you need to do because of your depression. And I want to share some insights with you today, some things that have helped me over the years. And I'm also going to share with you 12 specific things that you can do, or things that I do, that you might want to copy, things you might want to start doing in your life. And I think these 12 things are going to make a enormous difference in your life and can even help you completely overcome depression and never experience it again in your life if you are consistent. Now, I know everyone's situation is different. I'm not claiming I have a cure here, but I guarantee you at least some of these things I'm going to share with you today will help you in a major way. So when it comes to overcoming depression, I think one of the first things we need to understand is that we are mind, body, and spirit. We have multiple aspects to who we are. And so when we're overcoming depression or any challenge in our life, we need to make sure we're addressing it on all three levels: mind, body, and spirit. I think a lot of people stay stuck because they're only addressing their problems on one level, maybe. A lot of self-help teachings, for example, are all about the mind, all about thinking the right thoughts, thinking positive thoughts, and understanding your psychology and all of that. And while those things are helpful, they are limited because it's only addressing the mind. But we also have a body and we also have a spirit. So if you're only focusing on one area and you're neglecting the others, then you're not going to achieve the results that you really could. So an example of addressing things on the level of mind is reading self-help books, or maybe going to therapy, or learning from role models, things like that. And an example of addressing things on the level of the body is proper nutrition, exercise, rest, possibly medication, things that address maybe imbalances within the body. And then we have the spirit, things like prayer, meditation, love, going on a spiritual retreat maybe, things that nourish the spirit. These things are also very, very important when it comes to overcoming depression. So now I want to give you 12 things that I personally do on a regular basis that help me keep depression out of my life, at least minimize the chances of me experiencing it. So the first thing I do to keep depression at bay, and the thing I recommend you do as well if you're not already, is reading books or listening to audiobooks at least 30 to 60 minutes per day. And these should be non-fiction audiobooks, things like self-help, psychology, philosophy, spirituality. Anything that is going to help you understand yourself better is going to be tremendously helpful in overcoming depression, or at least managing it, because you're going to be able to start to recognize patterns in yourself. You're going to start to recognize cause and effect relationships. You're going to start to see, oh, when I'm thinking this way, I feel this way. And when I change my perspective on this, then it helps me feel better. You're going to be able to see the connection between your thoughts and your emotions, and just understanding that and understanding the depths of your mind, because there are many layers to your mind. Understanding that is going to be very, very helpful. And that's probably the number one thing that has helped me over the years with my depression, is just understanding myself. And that's one of the major things that we all need to focus on in life, because if we don't understand ourselves and understand how our own mind and body works, then how are we going to navigate through life confidently if we don't even know what's happening with us? We don't even know why we feel what we feel. Why do I think these thoughts all the time? Why am I so full of fear or self-doubt or whatever? If we don't understand the answer to these questions, then we're going to struggle in life more than we need to. The second thing that I do that I think you should definitely do if you struggle with depression is get 30 to 60 minutes of vigorous exercise at least 5 days a week. And this is going to make an enormous difference. Like, if you're not doing this, you're shooting yourself in the foot, and you're not even giving yourself a fighting chance. Because depression is like this stagnant energy. It's energy that's not moving, not flowing. And so just moving your body can get that energy flowing, and it can help lift your depression. And you will notice almost immediately when you do vigorous exercise, you're going to feel better afterwards. And if you stay consistent with it over time, it's going to improve your health, it's going to improve your energy levels, your productivity levels, and it's going to translate into other areas of your life as well. And I think you'll notice this makes a huge difference. Now, I know when you're depressed, you often might struggle with finding the motivation to do things like exercise. And that's okay. Just start small. I don't care if it's just doing 10 push-ups a day. Just do something and be consistent with it, and just slowly add over time and get to that point where you are doing 30 to 60 minutes a day. Even if you don't start there, at least make that the goal, and then just gradually work your way up to that. The next thing I do that most people probably won't do because it's so difficult and so uncomfortable is cold showers or cold baths, ice baths. Now, this has been scientifically proven to increase your dopamine and serotonin in your brain. Increases dopamine by, I believe, up to 200 or 300%, and serotonin by something similar, 200 to 500% or something like that. I don't know the exact numbers, but you could probably Google it and you'll find the study. But this is one of the only proven methods to consistently keep your dopamine levels at a higher level for several hours. Several hours after you take an ice bath or a cold shower, you have increased dopamine levels and increased serotonin. And these increased dopamine and serotonin levels directly translate into you feeling better, because dopamine is one of the feel-good neurotransmitters in your brain. So is serotonin. So it makes you naturally more motivated, more awake, more alive, more mentally sharp and clear. It makes you naturally feel happier. So this is something that's very challenging. You want to start small with this too, probably. Try just 10 seconds of cold at the end of your shower maybe, and gradually work your way up. And if you want to learn more about this, look at Wim Hof. You can search him on YouTube. He's the Ice Man, and he does like crazy things like go in ice water for like an hour and swim in Alaska and climb mountains with just shorts on. Like, he does some crazy stuff like that. I don't think you need to go to any extremes, but cold exposure has been proven to help with depression, anxiety, and a lot of other mental and emotional disorders. So I highly recommend looking into it. The next thing I do that I think is often overlooked is the music you listen to. Choosing higher vibrational music. Music with a more positive message. Music with a more positive energy to it. In the past, when I was young, I used to listen to rap music, a lot of rap and hip hop music and stuff like that. And I still do occasionally, but I try to limit that as much as possible because it just vibrates at a lower level, and you can feel it when you listen to it. And just listening to the lyrics, a lot of the messages in these songs are not that positive. So you want to be careful about the music you're listening to, and actively look for music that lifts your spirits, and make a playlist of uplifting music and listen to that often. And this will make a huge difference as well. And that brings me to my next one. I think this is number 5, and that is having a clean environment. I find this makes a huge difference. If you have a messy environment around you, if your house isn't clean, then you're going to feel that on some level. It's gonna lower your mood at least a little bit. And I find that when I clean my house and I have a very clean environment around me, it does lift my mood quite a bit. And it makes a big difference in how clear I'm thinking and how good I feel. On a similar note, number 6, personal grooming, taking care of yourself, keeping yourself clean, keeping yourself clean shaven maybe, or getting a haircut regularly, or dressing well, dressing nicely. Maybe you need to upgrade your wardrobe, because when you look good, you tend to feel better. So personal grooming is important too. I've noticed, it's kind of weird, I've noticed in the past that if I let my hair grow out and get like longer, I notice I tend to get more depressed for some reason when I have long hair, because it's like I'm not taking care of myself. I don't look as good as I want to, so I tend to not feel as good. And I notice when I get a fresh haircut, I kind of feel better. And I don't know why that is exactly. Maybe just because the perception of myself, I think I look better, so I feel better. So that's a little thing that can make a difference. The next thing, I think this is number 7, is at least 5 to 10 minutes of daily meditation. You need at least some time in your day where you can just let go of everything and silence your mind and get to a place of inner stillness and peace. Because this is going to help you remember that you are not what happens to you in your life. You are not the story of your life, the drama of your life, the people in your life, everything that's happening in your life. That is not who you are. At the core, you are something so much more. And you need to silence the mind and silence those negative emotions and get to a place of inner peace to recognize the truth of who you are. And when you can come from that place in your life, you're going to be so much more powerful, so much more capable, because you're going to know that you don't have to be influenced by all these things around you. You can live in a state of inner stillness. And while that might be very difficult to achieve and get to that point where we can live that way most of the time, at least just a few minutes of daily meditation can help you get in touch with that and start to practice getting to that place where you are unaffected by anything in the outside world, unaffected by even your own thoughts, your own beliefs, your own emotions. And you can get to a place beyond those things where you are perfectly at peace, where you realize your wholeness, you realize that you are complete as you are, and that you truly need nothing. The next thing is gratitude. Just taking a few moments out of your day, maybe a few times per day, to just say, thank you. Thank you for my life. Thank you for this challenge, this opportunity to grow and evolve as a person. Everything can serve you in your life, no matter how difficult or painful it might be. It is an opportunity. It can be used for your own benefit. And so when you start to realize that, when you start to realize that you can learn from everything and anything, that helps you be more grateful, because you realize that everything is a gift and that nothing is truly bad or negative. It's all just something that you can use to learn and grow. And so you can be grateful for your life and everything that's happening to you, the good and the bad. The next thing I would recommend you do is limit media use. Social media, television, the news. You want to limit this as much as possible. When I was younger and I was going through a really deep, dark period of depression in my life, I basically cut out all of that stuff. I stopped watching television completely. I even stopped watching movies. I even stopped listening to music. I stopped playing video games. I stopped most social media. I cut out almost everything I could because I knew it was just distracting me from the work that I really needed to do on myself. And so as many distractions as you can cut out of your life, do it. If you have to freaking sell your TV, I don't care. Get rid of it. It's probably better for you. When I was younger, I played video games a lot, and I completely got rid of my video game console. I didn't keep it in my house because then it was just going to be a temptation for me, right? So I got rid of it. I don't want it in my sight. You know, sometimes you have to be a little extreme like that if that's what you need to do. The next thing, small daily progress. This is so important. It doesn't have to be big, but you need to set a goal for yourself, and you need to just take one little step per day. And it could be something very, very small, but progress, seeing yourself making progress towards a worthwhile goal, is going to uplift your mood, especially as you see yourself getting closer and closer to that goal. It's not about taking huge steps. It's about the consistency. Seeing yourself consistently progressing is going to increase your confidence, and it's going to give you momentum in your life. And over time, it's going to be easier and easier for you to take action on your goals, and that's going to translate into everything else in your life. When you take action towards your goals, you're going to be able to take action on other things in your life much easier as well as you build that momentum. You're going to be able to fix problems in your life. You're going to be able to maintain your relationships, maintain your health, maintain an exercise routine. You're going to be able to do all those things much easier when you have the habit of making small daily progress towards a worthwhile goal. All right, we're on number 11 now. Nutrient-dense food. This is extremely important, often overlooked. I find a lot of people miss this completely and they shoot themselves in the foot by not addressing this. A lot of mental and emotional disorders are related to physical imbalances, chemical imbalances in the body or in the mind, and these are related to nutrition oftentimes. If your body is not getting proper nutrition, it can't create the right chemicals, the right neurotransmitters. It can't create enough dopamine or serotonin to keep you happy. So if you're not giving your body what it needs to create what it needs, then you're going to be lacking. You're going to be deficient. And if you're deficient internally, you're going to be deficient in your thinking. You're going to be deficient in how you feel. You're going to be deficient in your ability to create things in your life, your ability to be productive. You're going to be deficient in all areas of your life if you're deficient in your own body. And when I say nutrient-dense food, I don't just mean like eating some broccoli, eating some vegetables, or what people typically think of as like healthy food. I'm talking about going into the realm of like green juices, doing green juice fasts, cleansing your body, doing detoxes, high quality nutrition that people don't normally eat. Things like liver, things like organ meats, these things have high levels of vitamins and nutrients that we don't normally get in a normal diet. And the last thing, number 12, sunlight and vitamin D. Getting sun on your skin is extremely important. Some people have been sort of brainwashed with the belief that, sun is dangerous. You don't want to get too much sun exposure because you'll get skin cancer or something. I personally believe that's total nonsense. The sunlight is good for you as long as you don't overdo it. Like in the summertime, I spend about an hour a day sunbathing my whole body. And in the winter, when you can't do that, you want to take a vitamin D supplement, because that's one of the reasons that sunlight is so good for you, is because it releases vitamin D in your body. And vitamin D, it's actually not a vitamin, it's actually a hormone, but it's extremely important for your mood and your mental health, and many other things in your body require high levels of vitamin D. And they've done studies and they've shown that most people in the world are severely deficient in vitamin D because we live indoors. But in the past, we lived outdoors. Our ancestors spent way more time in the sun than we do today. And so our bodies are biologically adapted to get a lot of sunlight, and we don't get that anymore, especially in the northern climates. So if you live in a northern climate, then this is even more important. You've probably heard of seasonal depression, right? Seasonal depression, it's related to low vitamin D levels. You have lower vitamin D levels in the winter months, and so that tends to correlate with a lower mood, more incidents of depression, anxiety, and things like that. So that is 12 things that I do that I would highly recommend you do. Pick and choose from this list, do what you want to do, but at least take one thing that you learned here today and start implementing it, and slowly work your way from there. And I think it'll make a huge difference. If you enjoyed this video, just please give it a thumbs up if you haven't already. I appreciate that. And I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.